Welcome in to episode number 38. It is the St0ner Sports Radio podcast here, and we are live from the Discord booth here in studio as we are going to talk about the NBA draft, some recaps, some summer league stuff as well, talk rookie of the year predictions, and much more. We'll go over Big 12 win totals. Big 12 Media Day was just about 48 hours straight so far of coverage there. And then we'll talk about where Damian Lillard might be headed as he has asked for a trade out of Portland. Joining me today is my good friend Zach. Zach, how are we doing this wonderful Be Happy Friday?
We are doing fantastic. All I can think about today is two things: Chet Holmgren and college football.
And those aren't bad things to talk about. I mean, this has been quite the start to NBA talk around the country as Summer League is in full swing. Games tipping off here as we speak. And will be happening shortly. Thunder play at 3:00 against the Wizards. That game coming up very soon. Let's talk about the NBA draft, right? So we kind of had some expectations and some wants from that night, and obviously it kind of went a little sideways. Tell me what your thoughts are about how this ended up for the Thunder specifically, because we kind of knew that Victor Wembanyama was going to go with the Spurs. We kind of knew that was kind of lined up to go that route. We knew Scoot Henderson was probably going to be the guy right after him. It ended up being Brandon Miller instead going to the Hornets, but we had kind of thought that was going to happen due to like what Michael Jordan said. So the Thunder end up drafting Derek Lively II for Dallas, and Dallas ends up drafting Cason Wallace for the Thunder. What are your thoughts on how they kind of made out in that opening round?
Yeah, I think that Cason Wallace played really well when he was on the floor. I mean, obviously he had that one breakout game. He had like 6 or 7 threes. I'm really happy to see him shooting the ball well, or in the summer league. Hopefully, he'll continue to do that in the preseason. I want to see a couple different lineups when we get into the preseason here. I want to see a lineup with him starting. I want to see a lineup with someone else starting. I mean, um, I'm pretty happy with how we got out of Vegas. Um, Chet obviously playing really well. I imagine he's going to be shut down probably tonight. If not tonight, this probably is his last game. Everyone else is getting shut down right now. Brandon Miller got shut down. Obviously, Wembanyama shut down. So hopefully, I think I'd want to see one more game of Chet, but I think it's probably about time to shut him down for the summer league as well. Get him ready for some preseason basketball. But you know, I think that Cason Wallace is going to be someone to look out for not necessarily rookie of the year, but he'll probably be on the lookout for maybe a first team all rookie team. He's playing really well, and I think he seems to kind of have a pro attitude about him when he's on the court. He's got a good IQ. He's not hogging the ball. He's getting everyone involved. I've really enjoyed watching him so far.
No, it sounds like the Thunder made a decent pick again. Sam Presti, I guess, knows what he's doing.
Oh
With
yeah.
the way things have kind of panned out. Look, let's dive into the second round, because I think that was kind of more interesting for us, right? Because we didn't really know what that second round pick was going to be. That one was more of a
Mhm.
crapshoot. Now, neither of us thought we were going to get Cason Wallace out of this. I don't think that was anything we thought either. We thought, this was going to be, Grady Dick, or this was going to be,
Derek
somebody.
Lively.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be, one of those guys. And, Dick goes right after our pick of Lively that we picked for Dallas. Colaby, who we thought would go into the teens, goes 7. Just an amazing, grab by the Pacers, the guy out of France. The Thompson twins go 4 and 5 to the Rockets and the Pistons. I don't really know if they're gonna pan out, as high as those picks are, but wasn't really surprised. By that, you had Jordan Hawkins going to the Pelicans at 14, so he was available if if the Thunder wanted him. Um, Jaime Jaquez goes to the Heat, a fantastic selection by the Heat. I really like Jaime
Yeah,
Jaquez. I think he's going to do wonders and help Jimmy Butler out immediately. Um, the Lakers pick up Hood Schifino, who's been looking pretty good in the summer league as well for the Lakers. They look like they're going to be contending for that Western Conference final spot again if they can stay healthy. And that still's not a cemented roster still. So I mean we have plenty of things to work out there. Um, but all the big names, like I'm saying, were kind of gone, right? Like the first
yeah.
round was kind of over. There weren't really anybody really hanging on too late into the second round. Um, and um, we picked Tyson out of Clemson at 37, but it's not our pick. I don't think we kept that pick. Um,
No, we only
and
kept Keontae.
Yeah, and so we kept the pick at 50 of Keontae Johnson from Kansas State. Um,
Mhm.
and I really wanted Amani Bates, and he goes
Me
right
too.
before to the Cavs. Um, and
What a grab by the Cavs
I
there, because
mean, literally,
I wanted him.
literally, what a grab by the Cavs. And then, no, 9 picks earlier, Amari Bailey goes off the board. The guard out of UCLA, who I also thought would have been a nice pickup for the Thunder, because most websites had those guys in the mid 50s, early 60s, and both of them go early. Good for them.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about that for them at all, but I would like to have seen them in Thunder, orange, and blue. Um, so I mean, what are your thoughts on Johnson? I know that he's not probably going to be a guy that we're going to see a lot of minutes from. I know he's going to probably be a blue guy. What are your thoughts?
He's played well in the minutes he's played in the summer league. I, obviously a great story with Keontae Johnson. But he plays really well. He plays really tough defense. But yeah, I don't see him making the cut. For the 15 man. I see him on the blue. I see him as a star on the blue.
Yeah,
I think that he'll probably be one of the top two options on the blue. Um, so yeah, not a bad pick. But man, if we could have got Amani Bates out of that, that's a second unit guy.
yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
that's yeah,
like Keontae Johnson's a blue guy, Amani Bates is a second unit guy, and that's
yeah,
just
yeah. It's a big jump.
that that sequence of events. Seeing Amani Bates go at 49, that just made my heart drop. As a Thunder fan, because that would have been the best possible pick we could have got at number 50 there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was probably the best value that you could have gotten, and I think anybody after that was kind of just you're looking at G League guys, you're looking at guys that might have to bring up if injury calls upon them. But I mean, I wouldn't say a lot of picks after 50 are gonna be guys that we're going to see a lot of. Maybe Trace Jackson Davis on the Wizards, the guy out of Indiana, might be another guy that the Thunder were looking at it possibly snatching up, but maybe they saw something they didn't like. I mean, he dropped pretty far. They thought he was going to be like an early second round guy, and he didn't go to the very end of the second round. So, I mean, again, just to prove to you how hard it is to predict where players are going to fall in any of these drafts when it comes to pro sports, these guys do their best, but normally you can only really lock in maybe the top 10, and that shuffles around sometimes as well.
Yeah. I mean, in this draft, all we really knew was going to be the top three.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that's pretty much all we knew. When we were all pretty sure it'd be Amen Thompson at number 4, but I mean, geez, this draft was just all over the place. I think next year's draft is going to be all over the place too, because not only do you have a bunch of stars. I think Dior Johnson's in this draft upcoming, but then you also have the idea of drafting Bronny to get LeBron on your team possibly.
yeah,
So it's tough. It is tough, and I think um, as far as the Thunder go, I think next season we're probably going to see a lot of those picks get traded um, for next year at least. And we have 35 picks over the next 7 years, 15 of those being first round draft picks. Um, next season, I imagine. I don't think it's happening this offseason. That season, I imagine we're drafting or we're trading for a star. Um, Siakam, if he's still available. Um, who know? I don't even know who's available next year, but I imagine the Thunder trying to make a move for someone like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about the Thunder here, as a topic, is kind of their pickups outside of the draft, right? You get Oladipo back, you get Bertans from Dallas, you get some of these guys that are going to be second unit guys and guys that are going to get, some minutes. I don't think Bertans is going to get a lot of minutes, but I think he's going to make the 15-man roster probably,
Probably.
because of just the name, and I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's terrible. Better than Johnson. So I think you
Yeah.
got to kind of give him the nod there. Oladipo definitely going to have to be that second unit guy, right? I mean, you're going to need somebody that's going to be able to provide offense and defense, and he's kind of one of those two-way players that you really need to lead that second unit. Um, I think they've got some good quality guys right now, and they're looking pretty good as far as the future for them. Because if Oladipo has a good season this year, package him up with some stuff, maybe pick up somebody big, like you said, because it looks like that's kind of what they're setting up for, is this dump of draft picks and in what Sam Presti might view as rehabilitated talent in Victor Oladipo for somebody that's going to be sitting next to SGA as you know Robin to his Batman. So, I mean, even though
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be Chet, I think that's supposed to be Chet. But I think that if Chet doesn't, it can't give you 20 and 10 every night. Something's wrong, because I think that's what he's playing right now. For is a 20 and 10 kind of stat line every night.
I was just thinking. Let's see what we got. So at the end of the 2026 season, um, Giannis becomes available.
Yeah,
So I don't, that's interesting.
yeah. I mean, a lot of things can
I've heard
change
that he
from
doesn't
now and
like.
then,
I
but
heard he doesn't
yeah,
love Milwaukee. I hear he's not a huge fan of Milwaukee. He'll be 31, so I don't know.
yeah. I
And
mean,
we could always trade for him,
yeah.
but
I mean,
um,
that's
I think Giannis is unhappy in Milwaukee, especially if they don't win that season. Um, I could see a trade happening.
yeah, or at least requesting one at least, right?
Yeah, and for Giannis, what's a more attractive place to go than OKC at that point?
Dallas, I don't know. I mean, Kyrie, him, and Luca down there would be nasty. Um,
I mean, Giannis obviously brings the Mavericks up, but I mean, geez, they got Luca and they're a 12 seed.
I don't know. I think that's. I mean, that's one of those things that after 2026 we have to look at. I mean, but like you said, if next season doesn't go well, he might request to be out of there next year. So I mean, that could be one of those things where someone's have to swallow the rest of his contract, and there's only a few teams out there that can do it. Um, and I don't know how.
We might be able to.
I mean, yeah, how much would be left? Like, is his? Let me see his contract. Um,
We don't have to pay Shea for a couple more
let's
years.
see. So his contract right now, he signed a 5-year, $228 million deal, um,
He's making around 50, I
in
think.
2020. Yeah, in 2020 he signed a 4-year, 228. So I mean, that's what you have 1 year of that left, right? You would have 1 year of that left. That's not bad. How much is that? Let's see. How much is that? 200.
I mean, that's a super max. So I mean, um,
$57 million. I mean, do we have $57 million of cap space?
well, I don't know. We could.
We could. I mean, I'm saying we
we may,
could. We drop some. We drop some guys. We can
yeah,
make
we
it
have to drop
happen.
some players,
But I mean,
but
like, I think we can get there. I mean, that's 57 million is a lot of money, though. Fucking shit.
well, with the new CBA, we can have two. We can have more than two supermaxes now, but at least two supermaxes. So SGA is going to get his supermax in
Yes.
2027. I think is
Yeah.
when he gets his supermax.
So we still got him on the cheap for a little bit. So that's good.
Yeah, he's on his max right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Um, and then, other max players, Chet will probably be a max player. Josh Giddey will be a max player. Jalen Williams will be a max player. Um, that's tough. You probably got to get rid of Josh Giddey.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that
Maybe got to get
hurts.
rid of Jalen Williams or Chet.
I mean, but
Maybe.
you kind of you really like that Butler guy out of Baylor. If we have to get rid of Giddy, do you think he could be a guy that could step up and fill that role? You think that
Jared
potential is
Butler.
there? Yeah.
I like Jared Butler a lot. He could fill that role. Yeah, yeah, I like him filling that role. He's been playing well, but I mean, we also have other players that can
Well,
still fill
yeah,
that role too. We got
and
Oos, we got Trey Mann. I mean,
yeah, Trey Mann's looking really good too. I mean, and the thing is we're gonna have draft picks next year and in the year after that. So I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, I mean, I think that might have to happen if he wants out of next year. If he wants out next year, yeah, that's gonna have to happen.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, we got to look out for what the Thunder like. We got to look out for these kind of players that have expiring or near expiring contracts in the next couple of seasons because the Thunder have to make some sort of big move.
yeah,
I mean,
I
they have to.
Yeah, and
So
then
it's just a
I mean,
matter of who.
unless these guys pan out the way they want them to, unless Chet ends up being that guy, right? Like if Chet ends up being that guy that we know he can be, if he can give you 25 and 10 a night, if he can be that guy, I mean, you might not be on the hunt for somebody in the near future, at least a big man like on a like
Yeah,
Giannis. I mean, you might be looking at somebody else like I don't know. I mean,
point guard.
yeah, like, but who? I mean, who would that be? Because right now, the point guards you could list, they're not really, fresh out of the basket. These are old guys. I mean, I don't really want Damian Lillard aging. I don't really want, maybe a Steph Curry, maybe an aging
I'm
Steph
thinking like a
Curry.
De'Aaron Fox,
Well, that
a
would be, yeah,
De'Aaron
that
Fox,
would be ideal.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson, maybe. Yeah,
Um, I mean, geez,
yeah,
you're right though. There's not
yeah.
many.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Um,
it's really not. I mean, there's gonna have to be guys that set. I mean, Anthony Edwards maybe. I mean, that might be
yeah,
another name you throw out there. I
Tyrese
mean,
Halliburton.
yeah, Tyrese just signed that big deal, didn't he?
Yeah, he's getting 260.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, yeah, it'll be a
But
long
I
time.
mean, but I think you could probably snatch maybe even Klay Thompson away from Golden State. They're probably ready to cut ties with that soon. Um,
I don't want Klay
I don't
Thompson.
know if
I got
I don't
bad
think you.
history with him.
Yeah, well, fair. Um, All right. Well, that's. I mean, that kind of wraps up most of the NBA stuff because right now, as you said, we're just kind of in the thick of summer league here, and we got tons of time to before October to really kind of have this roster cement and really be able to see where things might lie. Thunder right now 10,000 to 1 to win the NBA Finals. Um, so bet a pretty $100 on that for your 10 grand. Because
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's it's not. I mean, there's a reason they're in people's top fives to possibly win the whole thing, and that's because they've got the talent on the roster to do it. Especially when you look at the pieces they've added with Bertans and Oladipo. I think I'm probably giving too much credit to Bertans, but I mean it's a name that you've heard before. So I mean it's
I honestly think you might be giving a little bit too much to Oladipo. I don't. I mean, he's so hurt. I
yeah,
mean,
but I mean I like Vic though.
he's not even gonna play. He's not playing next season. I mean,
You don't think so?
I know.
You
No,
should
I think they already confirmed that he's out for this whole
really.
next season. Yeah,
Hmm. Well,
or at least most of it. I think he's out until. I think he's like guaranteed out until like March.
well, I mean, still be an asset. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I
I
mean, if
mean,
we could have him in the playoffs,
if that's true, that kind of changes my tone a little bit because I really thought that he was gonna be playing for most of the season. I thought he had already been recovered from most of
oh,
that.
let me double check. Let me see if I'm wrong here. Yeah, because he got hurt in the playoffs. Oh no, it says he could be cleared in the first half of the next season.
Okay, so I mean,
He could be.
it's not as bad. Like we're talking about missing
Yeah,
maybe until Christmas, which I think is
yeah.
plenty of time to
I
be
think
in.
like at worst All Star break.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. I mean, because I think that the schedule kind of leans its way to the where the Thunder could be able to weather that storm. I think they've got.
Yeah,
If Trey Mann plays the way he's playing, I don't think you're going to really be yearning for Victor Oladipo. You know what I'm saying? Like at least the offensive part. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you're gonna miss that defense. That's 100%. I think if we're talking about the Victor we could be getting back. Um, but I think that offensively, if Trey Mann can do what he's doing right now in summer league, if you have people like Jalen Williams stepping up and providing more offense, if you have Isaiah Joe being able to come off and hit some threes here and there, and if Kaysen Wallace can hit threes, if this is something that he's able to do, Zach, then we're looking at a completely different team here. Now I know that he said that Calipari kind of stunted his offensive. You know, he was like, I didn't really showcase my full bag at Kentucky because Calipari wouldn't really let me because that wasn't the offense we were running really. And so I think that maybe he's saying Calipari didn't want me jacking threes. I could hit him, but he didn't
yeah.
want us jacking threes. And maybe that's really his thing, and we just don't
You
know it
got to
yet.
remember all of these young dudes. I mean, I'm talking as like Chet's class all the way down to like these upcoming couple of draft classes. You got to remember they all grew up in an NBA dominated by Steph Curry.
Yeah,
They all grew up trying to mimic Steph Curry. So like Case Wallace, what is he like 19, 20?
yeah,
Like he is trying to shoot like Steph Curry when he was in middle school,
yeah.
you know? So I imagine that he's got that in his bag. I imagine that he's got those, those good step back threes. I'm same with Chet. We've seen Chet hit those kind of shots. So I mean, I think at this point we're at the point that any new prospects coming into the NBA are going to have a 3-point shot. I think it's almost mandatory.
Okay, I like that. I mean, that's hey, that's I mean, you're probably dead right. Just because of like you said, that's their generational, 3-point shooter.
I'm thinking of one of my friends, his younger brother, right? I've watched him play in high school and back when he was in middle school, I watched him play. I mean, these kids were like 11, 12 years old, just jacking it. I
Okay,
mean, just
yeah.
jacking it from the three.
I
Because,
mean, everybody
this
loves
was
a
like
good three ball.
2015, 16. We're talking
Yeah,
unanimous MVP Steph Curry season,
yeah.
that they're watching.
Well, I mean,
That's all you see in the youth these days.
yeah, that's good news then. If this is something that he can continue to do, then that's good news for the Thunder because they really need some more 3-point shooting, and I think that's one of those things that they're kind of lacking um, right
For
now.
sure.
Let's transition here into some college football because I know we just got
Woo!
major boners for college football already, just full mass down
Oh
here.
yeah.
That's why we only show from the tits up because I mean we're just rigid underneath this black bar. So Big 12 Media Day, last 2 days. We kind of talked about it a little bit off the air, and we didn't really learn anything new from Big 12 Media Day. The commissioner did like you said, crap on OU and Texas. Little jabs here and there,
Yeah.
um, but not really anything super entertaining. Not anything to really take away. But I just wanted to talk about kind of like the win totals here for the conference and kind of where some of these teams stand as far as where Vegas and other sports books thinks that these teams are gonna lie, and kind of some of the surprises of college football, and some of them lie in the Big 12. So let me just get your thoughts straight off the bat here. The first team on the list that I'm looking at right here is your Oklahoma Sooners. Um, Right now, they've got the win total at over 9.5. Um, your thoughts on that?
Um, this last season is just it's so hard to judge last season for OU. The 6 to 7 season, first year head coach. Um, it's so hard to judge the OU for that season because of the talent exodus that occurred out of OU, with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams leaving. A lot of OU's staff, a lot of OU's talent went with them. Um, so I think this is the first season that we're going to get a fair look at what a Brent Venables defensive system with some Brent Venables coached players is going to look like. A couple of Brent Venables recruits as well coming in. Some freshmen that are going to play. I do think that we do much better than last season. I imagine that last season was quite the anomaly for Oklahoma. We'll probably uh, 10 wins is difficult. Um, Realistically, I'm expecting 9, but if Brent Venables is really the guy that we think he is, and Dylan Gabriel improves at a significant level, takes care of the ball a little bit better, a little bit more aggressive on
Stays
the ground,
healthy.
stays healthy. We can't have Davis Bevel starting in the Red River rivalry. Um, except it'd be Jackson Arnold this year, which might not be bad. But um, if Dylan Gabriel can improve his play, maybe even if we take the switch to Jackson Arnold pretty early, I think that OU could get up to 11. Um, I imagine that we will have a loss somewhere. It just always happens. Even if we do play at the highest of my expectations, which is an 11-1 season, um, we'll probably lose to like Kansas State or something. So,
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
which would be your
but
reigning
I
Big 12
realistically
champion,
am
so it wouldn't be a
expecting
bad
9-3.
loss.
Yeah, I'm really expecting 9-3 here. I do think OU beats Texas this year. Even if Texas does play like a top five team, like a lot of projecting them to be, um, I still think that OU beats Texas this year. I think that we probably take some L's to Kansas State. I could see us taking an L to a BYU, um, and I can see us losing. Uh, obviously, we could lose to Texas. That's
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
But I could see us losing to, shit, I mean, an Iowa State or a Tech. I mean, those are teams that I don't think are gonna blow anyone out of the water, but are dangerous for a team like OU.
yeah. I mean, and it'll be interesting to tell you here that the 9.5 win total line has the same odds for under and over. They're both at one minus 110 here under. So they're saying probably 9. That's what they're saying. They're saying it
Yeah,
that when
I'm
the
thinking
odds are the
9.
same over and under a 9.5, they're saying 9 is probably where they're seeing Oklahoma lie here. And to be honest, Zach, that might still be good enough to get you into the Big 12 championship game. And I think if you can get
Yeah,
there, I mean, you could possibly sneak into that 4 spot depending on how early those losses are in the season and who they are too. Because if you're talking about those 3 losses being Texas, a possibly ranked Kansas State team, and maybe even as much as people are sucking their dick, a possibly ranked Texas Tech team. If those are your 3 losses, or like you said, maybe a BYU, but I don't think BYU is going to be ranked at all this year. So I think that would be a bad loss. But I think if there are 3
yeah,
losses to teams that are ranked at the time you play them, I think that you could maybe sneak in there. You're going to need a little bit of help, obviously. But 9-3 wouldn't be the end of the world if you could squeak your way to 10-3 with a Big 12 championship win. Um, I think the committee would need to talk about it a lot. I think there would have to be some animosity in the SEC with Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama beating up on each other, which may or may not happen.
yeah.
So I mean, I
I
think
just I
if
don't see a 9-win team getting in.
yeah, I mean,
I
they would
I
need
just
some
don't.
help. They would need some help.
Yeah,
But I think
3
that
losses is almost a death sentence. I mean,
yeah,
2 losses is almost a death
yeah,
sentence.
but I think this is the year I think we're going to have to answer that question because I think we're really going to have some problems when it comes to the Pac-12 and the SEC. The ACC might be the only, and the Big Ten might be the only 2 conferences where the team that wins the conference outright might have a beautiful record. I think Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, you might have a year, Zach, this year where 2 Big Ten teams get in over 2 SEC teams because of what I think is going to happen with these teams beating up on each other in the SEC this year because of the unknowns. I mean, we don't really know that much about Georgia's quarterback. He's good, but is he Stetson Bennett good? Like, I don't think so. There's going to be a drop off. There's going to be a little bit of a drop off there. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
think
that defense, man.
yeah, the defense might be able to make them win these games, but can they beat Alabama twice? If they lose to Alabama twice, but Alabama loses to like Tennessee and or like a South Carolina midway through the year, I mean, if LSU jumps up there because people are high on LSU, if they
Yeah,
snap and bite
LSU number
somebody's
6 on
ankles,
this thing, I think. I
yeah,
think
I mean
LSU's number 6 on this one.
they're up there. Um,
Yeah, jeez.
so I mean, they if the representative from the SEC comes out of the SEC with 2 losses, then 3 is not eradicating anything. But that really predicates on just how good these top level teams are going to be this season. I think there's just a lot to be said about that. So I don't have a problem with saying OU wins 9 games, but I think they could win 10. I think 10 is probably my ceiling. I would probably pick the over on this 9.5 for OU. Texas has the same win total, but
Really?
right now if you smash the over, you're gonna have to bet a lot of money to win any, because I mean it's minus 140. The under is plus 120. They think that there's no way Texas is gonna be winning less than 9 games this year. They think that this thing rests solely at 9 or more. Your thoughts?
I'm full, horns down. I hate the
Yeah,
Longhorns, but I'm fully expecting them to go 11-1 this season.
I just
I
don't.
mean,
I
they
mean,
look good. They look
yeah.
good.
I mean, I mean, they look good, but the thing about it is Quinn Ewers really that guy? You know what I'm saying? I don't think Arch Manning is that guy.
I don't think
I
Arch
don't think
Manning's
they've
that guy,
got
but
any
I could see
quarterbacks. I
Quinn.
don't think they've got any quarterbacks. I think Sarkeesian
Well,
is in trouble. He is in
they have
trouble.
that Malachi guy.
Yeah,
Um, they
yeah,
got a good quarterback room, and I think that even if Quinn Ewers plays at a level, I think the worst that we're going to see in terms of quarterback animosity at Texas is like a 2021 OU situation, right? Where you have Spencer Rattler who's not playing great, but we're 6-0.
yeah,
I mean, like we're 6-0. Spencer Rattler doesn't play great, but he wins us 5 games, and then obviously we have the situation in the Texas game.
yeah.
But I expect that even if Texas has a situation where Quinn Ewers isn't playing well, I mean the rest of that roster is so loaded
Yeah.
that I think that they even if they do have to switch quarterbacks, they're probably still undefeated at that point in the season. I'm imagining that if they have to switch quarterbacks, it would be in a game like against OU, and we'd probably see Arch Manning come out. If
Yeah.
he plays well, he plays well.
Yeah.
We won't really know until we see him play. Um, but my prediction, my official prediction is that Texas goes 11-1 with a loss to OU.
Okay. I mean, I like that for OU because it sets him up
I think OU goes 10.
for a loaded back half. And so you maybe a rematch in the Big 12 championship game.
I imagine so, and if in that situation, I think OU wins out,
So 11 and
probably
2.
11-2.
11
Yeah,
and 2 with 2 wins over Texas would definitely probably put you in the discussion for something.
you'd be in
Um,
that number 4 discussion for sure.
yeah. So that would be a good spot for them. The next team I see on this list from the Big 12 is BYU. The over at 5.5. They
Hmm.
think that they think BYU is going to win less than 5 games, or 5 or less. They think that the under is minus 125. The over is plus 105. 5.5 for the Cougars.
I was thinking the other day, how funny is it that they were named the Cougars when Zach Wilson played there?
Yeah.
But gosh, BYU. Um, obviously first season in the Big 12. That's another team, and the same with Cincinnati, same with even Houston.
Yeah,
It's just like
Cincinnati's got the same win total too. They're at 5.5 as well.
it's just like you have no idea what they're going to do in conference play. I mean, we're talking Power Five now. You know, BYU's used to playing these kind of teams. Cincinnati, not as much. So it's tough. You would expect that Cincinnati, especially, probably has a little bit of a drop off.
Yeah,
It's not if Pickle's not there anymore. I
both of these
mean,
teams, Vegas is favoring the under here. They say 5 or less on Cincinnati or BYU.
I think BYU probably gets 6. I think BYU's good enough, a well-coached team. I think they're good enough to get 6. I think they obviously they mingle in the Pac-12 a lot.
Yeah,
They're one of those teams that is good enough to be a Power Five team pretty much every year, anyways. Um, so I think BYU gets 6. I think the Big 12 is a little weaker this year, especially. So I could see them getting 6. Cincinnati probably on the leaning towards the 5
hmm,
or the 4.
yeah,
Um, they're not as well coached as they used to be.
yeah. No Luke Fickle.
Um, yeah, no Luke Fickle. That defense is going to be suspect against Big 12 offenses, which are typically pretty explosive. Um, I imagine Cincinnati has some growing pains, and I think the same thing about Houston.
Yeah, Houston right now their total is 4.5 with the under being plus 115. So they think that for sure Houston's going to win 5 games this season. Um, I think if you smash the under, there's no way they're winning only 4. Your thoughts on that? That accurate?
I think they could win 4.
Yeah. So I think that if you're smashing the, I mean, you would smash the under there because it's 4.5. So you would smash the plus 115 on just 4, just like total 4.
I mean, I might not put a ton of money on it, but yeah, I'd probably hit the under there if I'm choosing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I see. I don't know what to expect from Houston either. I think they're going to be a dumpster
Yeah.
fire. But that's just me. The next Big 12 team on the list is Iowa State. They got them at 5.5. Right now they're favoring the under 5.5. Your thoughts on the Cyclones?
I think we're probably going to see them closer to 6. Um, I'd take the over on that one just because they're well coached. Um, they always find a way to sneak in a couple wins, and they're always underrated in the preseason. I would just
Not
based
last,
off
not
history,
not not 2 years ago.
not 2 years ago. Yeah, that's true. They had a great season though. I imagine them getting 6 wins this year. Because I don't know exactly who's on their schedule because it's not round robin play anymore in the
Yeah,
Big 12.
yeah.
So I don't know exactly who's on their schedule, but I imagine that they probably feast on some of these new Big 12 entries. Um, I imagine, I don't see Cincinnati beating them. I don't see Houston beating them. I don't,
Yeah,
BYU's
here's their
that's an
here.
interesting one, but
I'll enlighten you. Here's the schedule. Northern Iowa probably a win.
yeah,
Iowa probably a loss. This year maybe. I mean they've got Iowa as like the second favorite to win their side of the Big Ten, side behind Wisconsin.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think Iowa State beats Iowa.
they have Ohio. That's probably a win. So 2-1 right there. They have Oklahoma State. That could be a win because we don't know how good Oklahoma State's going to be. Then they got OU, probably an L.
Yeah,
TCU, don't know a
I
lot
think
about
they
TCU. They got
I think they would beat
Cincinnati.
TCU.
Cincinnati.
They
I
beat
mean,
Cincinnati.
yeah, they got Baylor, Kansas, BYU.
No.
No, and then Texas and Kansas State. So they probably lose their last 5, right?
I mean, unless they beat Baylor, I could
Yeah.
see them beating Baylor. So
Well,
like, I'm thinking 5 or 6.
Kansas still a question mark too. I
I
feel
think
like
Jalen Daniels is good enough.
yeah, okay. I mean,
I
uh,
think I think Kansas is going to get 6 or 7.
the
I think we're
cheap
going to have a lot of 6-win teams this year in the
the
Big 12.
cheapest ticket on the schedule is the Ohio game at $27 average per ticket.
If you're a sicko, you'll go to that game.
Yeah, the most
You
expensive
have to
is
be a
the most
sicko to go to that
expensive is
game.
obviously the Iowa game at $159 a ticket.
Man, I'm definitely going to have to make my way to a couple of OU games this year.
Yeah,
So
gonna have to. So we think Iowa State's probably going to hit the over there, on the 5.5. So smash that at plus 115. Probably gonna get at least 6 on there. The next one on the list is Oklahoma State. They have them at 6.5 wins. Um, Cowboys are kind of in the middle here. They're thinking it's probably going to be less than or 6, or they think it's gonna be 6 or less. You think the Cowboys could squeak out 7?
they could. I mean, I have them at a 6 or a 7. That 6.5, I think is probably one of the best lines here. Um, because Gundy's good enough to get them to 6 wins, I think, pretty much any year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. So, I could see them getting 7. I mean, they're not going to beat OU. They're not going to beat Texas. They're not going
Uh,
to.
they could
Um,
beat Texas.
I don't think they'll beat
They could
Texas.
beat Texas. It's down in Austin. That's like home away from home for Oklahoma State the last 15 years. What are you talking about?
I guess that is true.
uh, No, you're probably right. They're probably gonna get steamrolled. But I mean, but the thing is, I
Yeah.
don't know how good Alan Bowman's gonna be, Zach. Like we've seen good things from Alan Bowman. Like, and he's got a great receiving core. Like that's something that OSU has year in and year out. A great receiving core. If you can just get them the fucking football. I mean, and I think that the running game was the biggest question mark, right? Because it was like the offensive line was and they didn't have anybody that was getting through holes. But but Nixon looks like he's a good little back for them. Um, I think I mean, Ollie Gordon back there looking good as well. I think they're going to have a better run game than they've had in the last 3 seasons this year, and I think that's really going to help Bowman out if he's the guy. I know Rangel is getting still a little bit of action here and there.
Yeah.
You haven't heard much from Gundy's kid. I think that's more of a next year kind of discussion. But they've got that new recruit from Arizona, that Flores guy who is supposed to be the next man up. He's supposed to be their Spencer Rattler that's sitting on the or their version of Jackson
Yeah.
Darnold, the guy that's sitting back waiting for next year. So we'll see if that kind of pans out. But I think Bowman's got a high upside to him, and I think that this 6.5 line, like you said, I would probably reach for the 7. I really would because
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to find 6 teams on that schedule. Because I mean I'll pull it up here just to humor you um because I think you need to think about this a little because 6 doesn't sound crazy, right? Like I mean it really doesn't. But think about this: start out with Central Arkansas, that's a win. Um, you have Arizona State on here, which that's probably the biggest game of the year for them to start out. Arizona State, because if they can beat Arizona State, then the expectations kind of jump up a notch for me. You're probably hitting that
Yeah.
7 mark. You have South Alabama, that's a win, so at least 2, right? Iowa State, another one that kind of depends on how you play Arizona State. If you lose to Arizona State bad, you might lose to Iowa State, depending on how they look against Iowa. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of questions going into that. Kansas State probably an L. Kansas, I don't know. I think that's going to be a slugfest in Stillwater. I mean, I think that's going to be a slugfest. I think that's going to come down to who has the ball last kind of game. So I don't really want to say that's a win. West Virginia probably a W. That's win number 3 for sure. Cincinnati win number 4 for sure probably. OU and L. UCF probably a win. That's 5. And then Houston gives you 6. You finish off with BYU, which could be 7,
Oh.
considering that their win total is 5.5 sacks. So they're probably not going to be that good. So that would be your 7th win, possibly, would be that BYU game. How healthy you are going into that kind of matters. But the games that I think could flip are that Iowa State game or that Kansas game, and those are the only 2 you really need to flip in order to hit that 7 mark. So I think 7 is realistic, but it depends on how they play Arizona State. If they blow Arizona State out of the water, then I don't think they're gonna have as many problems with some of these mid-level teams. That Kansas game becomes more interesting. So I kind of have more of a upside hope for Oklahoma State to hit that 7 mark than I do for them to be 6 and 7.
Yeah. I think they'll probably hit the 7.
Yeah.
Um, I think that my ceiling's probably 7.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's correct. I think the ceiling is probably 7. Any other win would be an upset.
yeah, I agree.
The next team is Texas Tech. 7.5. Everybody's sucking Texas Tech's big old Lubbock peen. Um,
Under.
yeah, the under is the favorite. They think they're gonna hit 8. They think they're going to win 8 games this year. Um, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where you're gonna find this. Um, here's the schedule. Where are your 8 wins at? Wyoming, that's a win probably, right? You would think. I think it's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah,
Because
that's
that game is in
interesting.
Laramie. That game is in Wyoming. Um, so I think I might actually favor Wyoming in that game, to be honest.
I think I
Um,
do too. I
and,
think
th-
I go Wyoming there.
and then you're going to get spanked by my Ducks the next week. Have fun with that.
Yeah,
If you can beat my Ducks week 2, you know, have at it. But I don't think Texas Tech is doing that to me. Tarleton State, that's 2 at least. I mean, well, that's 1. I think that's the first real win is Tarleton State probably because I think that Wyoming and
probably.
Oregon, that's a tough start. That is a tough start.
Yeah, that is
Um,
tough.
West Virginia probably a win, so there's 2. Houston, there's 3. Baylor, I don't know what we're gonna really expect from Baylor this season. I'm gonna say
That's 4.
that's 4. Okay, Kansas State L, BYU that's 5. TCU 6. I mean that's what they're saying,
That's a
right?
tough one. That's
Um,
what we're saying though. Yeah.
Kansas, probably 7. And then UCF and Texas. So I mean, 8 would have to be UCF, and you lose to Texas. I mean, you beat Texas last year though, so I mean, maybe that's 8, and you lose to the Kansas. I just don't know. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
see
that's
where you're
tough.
getting 8 wins out of this. I think I would hit the 7 on this because they could start 0-2, and it could be like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, it would not
That
surprise me.
Tech is going to be a roller coaster next season.
I
That's
don't
what I'm
like it.
thinking.
I don't like it. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch this one
Yeah,
at
don't.
all. I
I would
wouldn't
say
touch
don't
it.
touch Tech.
Don't touch it.
Do not touch Tech
Don't.
unless I would say don't touch Tech unless you are watching that first half of that Oregon game, right?
Yeah.
And Tech is looking good.
Oh
If Tech is
God.
looking good in
If
the
they're,
first half of that Oregon game,
no,
you better
don't
start
say that.
hammering the
Don't
overs.
say that.
You better
I mean,
start
I mean, I
hammering
mean, I mean.
some dubs.
Okay, looking good does not mean they're winning it. Okay, looking good is
No,
like they're
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't necessarily think they win it,
yeah.
but if they look good against Oregon, then I
That's
think
so
then you
concerning
give
for
them the
me, though.
edge.
That's so concerning for me, though, because I don't
I
need
mean,
Texas
yeah.
Tech to look good. I
I
need to
mean,
be able to
listen,
beat
welcome to
USC this
OU.
year.
Welcome to Oklahoma's feeling. I mean,
I
every
don't
year
like.
it's
I
just
don't.
kind of like who are we gonna. Even when we had Lincoln Riley, it was who are we gonna
Yeah,
lose
yeah,
to.
yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
like
It's true.
which two teams are we gonna lose to every year?
It's true. It's true. The next team is UCF. They got them at under 6.5. That's the
Yeah, for sure.
or they've got sorry they got them over 6.5. They got them at 7. They've got them at 7. They said UCF's winning 7 games. That's the favorite. It's minus 170 for over 6.5, plus 145 for under. So they think they're hitting 7. Yeah, they think
What are
they're.
they smoking?
Hey, whatever it is, it's pretty damn good.
They
Let
are
me
smoking on
wait,
something.
wait, seven,
Cause
wait, 7 wins. Here we go. Here's the schedule. Here's the schedule. Seven wins right here. You ready? Oh God, this is good. It's good.
they're the best team.
7 wins. Okay, Kent State. There's one. I'll give you Kent State. Boise State.
Yeah.
Boise State maybe 2. I mean,
No.
no,
No.
no. Well,
No.
wait. Where's Boise State on here? No, there's no way Boise State has a higher win total than them. There's no fucking way, dog.
You just know it though. You know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, probably. I
When
just.
they get on that field, is it in Boise State? Because if they get on that blue
Oh
field,
yeah, let me see. Um. No. Yes, it is Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. Albertson Stadium. Jesus, why is it Albertson Stadium? Oh my God. Yeah, Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. So yeah, we're on the Smurf turf. Looks like
yeah, yeah.
L. Okay, L.
Boise
Okay,
State
okay,
wins that one.
okay. So Villanova, that's a win. Um,
Yeah,
Kansas State, L.
so at 2.
Baylor. I don't. Is that you're saying 3? I mean, if the win total is 7, that's got to be a W, right?
I mean, it's got to be, but like I think Baylor will probably wins that one.
Okay. Kansas right after that. That's an L, right?
Yeah,
Oklahoma. That's an L.
easy L.
West
Dylan
Virginia.
Gabriel against UCF.
Yeah, West Virginia probably a W because West Virginia is supposed to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they're ass every year.
Cincinnati a W probably. You're saying Oklahoma State a W. You're gonna have to say that because that's what 5.
No shot. Like
And then you have Houston, which could be 6, and you have Tech. You have Tech, then you have Houston.
that's 5 in my opinion. That's
Yeah,
5.
I think you have to smash the under on this, right? Like, is UCF really
I
that
think that's
great?
way under. I mean, like I'm smashing. If I could smash under 5.5, I'd smash that.
Yeah, I mean the under is plus 145. They think 7 for sure. They're saying 7
Like
for.
in that schedule, 6 is their ceiling if they can beat Boise State in Idaho.
Yeah, they're saying they're getting. So that's UCF. That's kind of a wild line when you look at
UCF
that
is
schedule.
not. UCF is not used to this schedule.
No,
They're just not.
They're not.
Like no chance they win more than 5 games. I just don't see it.
They got West Virginia at 5 games. Over 4.5 is at minus 140, and they've got the under at 120. So they think they're at least winning 5. I mean West Virginia. I mean, or they're gonna have to only win 4 if UCF's gonna win 7. I mean that's just wild. That is just wild. I don't think there's really much discrepancy with that. I think I smashed the over. I think they can probably get 5. West Virginia probably sneaks 5.
So I think they get 4.
Really? Is it?
Is
it that bad of a schedule? Let me see if it's that bad of a schedule though. I don't know what that.
I mean,
bad.
what'd they go last year?
I don't know what they went last year. They start off at Penn. They start off at Penn State, so they're gonna get fucking shellacked.
Oh, but hey, but what? But what if that would be a crazy upset?
Yeah, I
because
mean,
Penn State's is in everyone's top 10
yeah,
preseason.
I mean,
So
so you're starting 1-1 already because you got Duquesne in week 2. Then you got Pitt, which Pitt could be an L. Um,
I think Pitt's probably an L.
well, Tech's gonna have to be an L if they're gonna get their 8 games, so that's an L for Tech against Tech. TCU, I don't know. I mean, West Virginia TCU that might be an entertaining game because both of those teams might be just poo poo pee pee. You got
Yeah,
Houston.
I could see that being just a shootout though.
Yeah, you got Houston. Then you got Oklahoma State and UCF and BYU, which are all 3 losses. Then OU, that's a 4th loss. Cincinnati, maybe a win. Baylor probably a loss. Yeah, I mean, 4 wins is it's gonna be 5. I think it's gonna be 5. I think you win probably one of those. You might beat Oklahoma State
Yeah.
depending on how they're looking at that point. I don't know if I would smash per se the over on this. Um, but they're saying it's gonna be 5, so I might smash the under at plus 120. I think 4 is probably more likely. Um, but if they can beat Penn State, that'd be fun. Um,
Yeah.
who else they got on here? I'm not looking at no SMU, Texas State, Troy, Toledo, Tulane, AB, UConn, ULM, UTEP, and that is all that DraftKings has on here as far as Big 12 win totals goes. They don't have a lot of the teams on here. I don't. Kansas was on here at I believe 6.5. Oh no, six
Perfect line.
exactly. 6 exactly. They have the
Perfect
over.
line.
They think it's going to be 6 or under for Kansas this year at minus 125. The over 6 is at plus 105. I think over 6, I mean, is realistic
I
depending on
take
how well they're
7.
playing. This depends on how well
I
they're
take 7
playing,
on them. Yeah,
because
I mean,
because
it
some of the
depends on Jalen Daniels.
yeah, because
Let's be honest.
some of these games where we're saying teams are gonna have to beat Kansas, they might not, depending on how well they're playing. So I mean, that's kind of up in the air. I think the most interesting line is probably the UCF line that we saw.
Yeah.
I think that's a wild line because even week 2 against Boise State on the road at that Smurf turf is a rough environment, no matter how bad Boise State is.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I mean, you don't want to be on that turf. Don't even ask OU fans about it.
yeah. Um, I mean, so that kind of wraps up that discussion as far as relevant teams in the Big 12. Let's kind of transition back into this discussion about rookie of the year here for NBA because I know we've been talking a lot about this. Um, this is kind of probably the last 2 things we'll do before we close out here is talk about that and kind of where we see this Dame Lillard situation going.
Yeah.
As far as rookie of the year goes, um, are me and you still are we riding the Chet train here? Because like I
Oh
feel
yeah, we're riding the
I
Chet
I,
train.
I feel like the Chet train is like full steam ahead right now.
Oh, dude,
Um,
the media is starting to climb on it too. They're looking at they're looking at Victor Wembanyama. They're thinking, hey, he might not be he's not the next LeBron James. Let's be honest. I mean, he struggled in the summer league in his first game. Let's not lie here. I think we're gonna see Chet. I think you hammer whatever it is on Chet. I think it's like plus
plus
500.
plus 350 right now. That's because
See, it's
he's the second favorite above Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller right now. It's him
see.
and it's
Last
him
time
and
I checked, he was fourth.
him and Wimby 2-person race right now. That's what DraftKings has right now.
Yeah,
Um, they've got the Thunder's European guy at plus 3,500 right now.
yeah. They had him above Anthony Black. I mean, that's not bad.
They don't have him above him anymore.
Oh well.
um, they've got him tied with Grady Dick and Taylor Hendricks. But they do have him above Jordan Hawkins, who I think might have a good season, and Jalen Hood Shafino, which is all the way at the bottom at plus 10,000.
Where's Imani Bates at?
Amani Bates.
I wonder if he's on there anywhere. I mean, that'd be an interesting one to hammer.
Oh, dude, not even on here.
Dude, I wonder if you could get him in Vegas for like plus 30,000 or something. I mean, that would be not a bad bet.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, imagine putting a tenner on Imani Bates in Vegas for Rookie of the Year. I mean, shit. That is not bad. Can you? I mean,
Yeah,
are his odds anywhere?
I'm looking at it right now. Oh my.
This one's got him plus 16,000 on FanDuel.
Plus 16,000. Yeah, that's seems about right because
Same as Chris Murray.
they cap at 10,000 here on DraftKings. So that makes sense.
Yeah, they got him on Bates.
Yeah, that's I mean, that would be an interesting one to smash for sure. Plus 16,000. Put a hundo on there for 16 G's.
Hey,
Hey.
see where he's at. I'd say watch the first couple games of the season. You know,
Yeah, so I
it'll
mean,
slip a little bit, but
because I think we're right here. I think it is a Chet Wemby kind of race here. I
oh
think
yeah, for
those
sure.
Spurs Thunder games are going to be must watches. Um,
They're
for
gonna be on national TV for sure.
they're gonna have to be right. Like, do we even know how much tickets are going for right now for that?
I mean, I think all the Spurs tickets have kind of skyrocketed just because of Wemby.
I mean,
Um,
I would assume so. Um,
and Thunder tickets are going up because of Chet, and just because SGA is kind of top three guard in the league kind of situation.
and that
First team All NBA, his ticket prices better go up, and we better
no
get more national games.
no data available for the schedule. Yeah, I guess I haven't been officially released yet. Um, but anyways, yeah, I think that kind. I mean, I think we're kind of riding that train until further notice. I think this is kind of where we're at right now, and I think Chet's kind of going to be, like you said, a main focus point in the media, and they're trying to jump on that wagon. And obviously, Vegas is jumping on that wagon as him as the next guy down on the list. Um, so to finish out here, let's talk a little bit about Damian Lillard, right?
Yeah.
So looked like he was staying in Portland. Now out of Portland. Um, I mean, where do you think this ends up landing for him? Because obviously, uh, Portland does not want to trade him to Miami.
Um, I think we're gonna see a three-team situation. He's gonna play in Miami. It's just gonna happen. Um, he's made it clear that he's like literally just not going to play for anyone besides Miami, and he has the power to do that. He can get on the court and just sit. He can do that if he wants to, and that's kind of the situation we're in with how players are kind of realizing their power a little bit more. They can demand trades to certain areas. Dame's going to be in Miami. It's going to be a three-team situation. It's just a question of who. Um, and geez, I don't. Who knows? I mean, who
Yeah,
knows who's going to get involved there? I mean, I think the Timberwolves could get involved. You might see the Bulls get involved. Levine to Portland kind of a situation. It's really tough. Um, but he will be in Miami. NBA players, especially at that level, know that they can go wherever they want. I mean, James Harden at this point, he just demanded that he's going to the Clippers. He demanded it, and it's going to happen. We both know that that's what happens. Um, Paul George demanded that he go to the Clippers, and it wasn't like a malice situation. We made that happen for him because it was a good situation for the Thunder. But he decided he was going to the Clippers.
yeah.
Kawhi decided he was going to the Clippers. I mean, it's just it works. It's gonna happen. I don't even if Dame is not playing for Miami at the beginning of this season, he won't be playing anywhere.
I mean,
I think he's at the point that he will retire and then like unretire to sign with Miami.
yeah. I mean, I could definitely see you know the desperation, right? Like he definitely wants to go there. Do you think that really gives him though like the best opportunity to win down there in Miami, or are we still looking at a situation where they're gonna fall short here to a Western Conference team?
His best chance for a ring would have been a situation before they gave up Marcus Smart. because that's who they would have to trade for him. But Jason Tatum came out and said that he was trying to get Dame to come over to Boston, and that would have been his best chance of winning a ring. I think that he probably does win a ring in Miami, but his best chance would have been in Boston. I think that him, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo can kind of get over that hump, especially if they don't have to get rid of Tyler Hero. Although all signs point to them getting rid of Tyler Hero. Um, they're going to keep a lot of their guys, um, and that's a good trio that I could see beating the Celtics. Again, that's you're adding Damian Lillard. You're getting like think about it. You're getting rid of Gabe Vincent and you're adding Damian Lillard. That's basically what's happening here. And you're probably getting rid of Tyler Hero, who wasn't playing in this postseason anyways. So with Gabe Vincent replaced by Damian Lillard, no chance they do any worse than they already did. So they're already in the finals again, in my opinion. So it's a question of being able to beat Denver, then, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like we're being pretty honest here. I think that Denver probably gets to the finals again. I think that if Harden goes to the Clippers, that we could see the Clippers in the finals, um, if they're healthy.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
which has always been the thing. Yeah.
yeah, but I think we're probably going to see the Nuggets. Um, and if Damien's in Miami, which he should be, probably a Nuggets Heat rematch here. And I think Dame could put him over the hump. Sure, Miami got one game in the finals this year. Um, do they get three more wins in the finals with Damian Lillard against the Nuggets? That I don't know. Um, Damian Lillard is a superstar. Can he get you three extra wins with that roster against the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, that's the big question. I mean, the other packages that I've seen are him going to L.A. for big assets that the Lakers are gonna have to move, like Austin Reeves being gone, um, a bunch of other things that have to happen for him to go and team up with LeBron down there. I've seen
I just don't think he's playing for anyone besides Miami at this
Yeah,
point.
I've seen still packages with Jaylen Brown and him heading still back up to Boston with just him and Tatum but just no Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
I've seen that, which now without Marcus Smart as well, is that really a team that's going to be able to compete for a title? I don't know. I do like some of their draft picks that they got, but I don't know if they're really on par for you know finals worthy appearance. Um, the last one I saw, I think, um was the Clippers. Was a trade to the Clippers, um for some big pieces down there. So I mean, really, to be honest, lots of discussion still around this, but I think you're right. I think eventually we're just going to see him in a Miami Heat uniform. Um, if that means that Miami has to get rid of Jaime Jaquez and some other players, I think that they would do that. Um,
heartbeat.
yeah, I think if you package him with Hero and who probably even have to get rid of Bam, to be honest.
No,
Which
I don't think you get rid of Bam.
I think you would have to, just because of the money. If I mean, but I think that that would be the big. I think that's what's kind of holding them back, is I think they know that Portland's going to want something of equal value, if not something that looks more promising, next year or the year after. And I don't think you can give them much other than Bam. I don't think. I think that's probably maybe why they're willing to wait months to do anything here, is because I don't think Miami's biting on giving up Bam. Like you said, I don't think they want to, but I think that's what Portland's like. We want him. Like you have to at least give us him, because we know you're not going to give us Jimmy fucking Butler. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Vincent's already in L.A. now, or is that Caleb Martin? Which one of them left for L.A.?
Vincent's in LA.
Okay, so
It's
they
Gabe
still have
Vincent.
Caleb Martin then. I mean,
Yeah,
not that that's really attractive for Portland. Why would they want Caleb Martin? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't really help them out. I know they've got Scoot, but I mean, who else do they have? You know what I'm saying?
but
So,
here's the thing. There's a point at which, sure, these trade talks, they're kind of stalled a little bit. They have heated up in the past like day, I think, just a little bit. But it is kind of the question is like, is Miami going to give up Bam? Here's my thing. I think Damian Lillard is kind of at the point, and he has enough power as a player that even if Miami won't give up Bam Adebayo and Portland, and Portland tells Dame that they're not going to trade him without Bam Adebayo, I mean, Dame could tell him like, I'm not going to play for y'all. Like at this point, Portland's got to get what they can get because if Dame's not going to play, Dame's not going to play. So it's either you get something out of it or you get nothing out of it, right?
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to see is probably three pretty good players. I think we're probably going to see Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, and probably Duncan Robinson in Portland, along with every first round draft pick they have for the
For the
next
next 6 years. I
like 4, 5, 6 years, however many. Like it's gonna be a lot.
yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be geez. It's probably gonna. I mean, what do they have? I mean, let me just pull up see what they
oh
have
yeah,
real quick.
go yeah, tickle our fancy and see how deep this is gonna go.
Let's see what the Heat future draft picks look like. Okay, so yeah, they have a first and a second next year,
Okay.
and then a first for 2025 and a first for 2026.
Yeah,
So that's four
yeah,
picks.
yeah.
Those
Four,
are all
yeah,
gone.
they're gone, done,
All of those are gone.
done. Yeah, don't
and
exist.
then
Don't even think about it.
I don't even know if we have any data for 2027. Let me see if because that only went to 2026. Um, and then they have their 2027, 2028, 2029. They have their own first round picks. And then they have they have two first round picks in 2029. So I imagine it's a first in 2024, first in 2026, a second in 2026, a first in 2027, and a first in 2029, and then probably your second in 2029. So that's six picks.
Yeah, that's
Six
yeah,
picks, three players, likely for Damian Lillard and a 14, 15 kind of guy on the lineup from Portland,
yeah. See that's
realistically, and
yeah.
maybe a second, right? Like,
Well, and that's I mean that's just realistic though. I mean you're gonna have to give up that kind of capital if you're gonna want somebody like Damian Lillard. And I mean I think it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, and it should unfold sooner than later. Even though Portland says they're willing to wait months for the Heat to cave on certain things that they want.
I mean, but that probably means Damian Lillard not playing for those couple of months. And if they're okay with that, then they're okay. I mean, they're not trying to win a ton of games this year, I don't think, anyways.
That's what I'm
So I
saying.
mean,
Like I don't think
like if they're okay with that, they're okay with that.
I don't think they're looking at like playing game if they're lucky type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I don't think they're
but are you
look
willing to pay Damian Lillard for those games that he's not playing?
yeah. And that's and it sounds like right now they're like, yeah, we're fine with that. But if they're fine with
I mean,
that,
because that could go all the way to the All Star break. That's like it's like 26 million or something
yeah, literally.
of
Um,
like just dead money, which
so
they can eat that, I guess.
yeah, I mean they can. So that's I mean that's kind of where we're at. Well, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you coming on here and
Yeah,
spilling knowledge to us all as we prep for 50 days away from kickoff here, and we'll be sure to remind you when there's less than 40 days left, then less than 30, then less than 20, because we are ready for college football, and we'll keep tabs on this summer league stuff as tip off about to happen here in about an hour and a half. For the Thunder, we'll
I
keep an
got
eye on that.
I got one final thing I
Oh
need to
yeah, go
say
ahead.
just for all these preseason polls coming out for top 25, right?
Yeah,
If your top 5 does not have Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Ohio State, and USC in no particular order necessarily, but if those 5 teams are not your top 5, it's wrong.
yeah.
And I just want to say that as an exit thing for anyone that has any sort of
Take
pull on
notes.
any sort of preseason top 25. Those 5 teams are the only 5 teams that should be in your top 5.
Take notes, people. Take notes.
Just
For
me.
for Will Warner, that's Zach Huffman, and we will be
Yeah.
seeing you soon. This has been episode 38 of the Stoner Sports Radio Podcast. Keep your stick on the ice. Good night, Canada.
Good night.